people have bought them and did a little work with them. Look, they're making nice homes, but there are a lot of really issues with that.
I'm the chairman of the golf committee. Will the rest of the golf committee please stand up? We have Susan, Steve McKee, Mark Gill, Phil Spencer. Dean is on his way, and Mary, yes, I'll meet you, Bruce. And Mary's my golf. She's on her trip. We also have our board members here. Raise your hand, because I think most of you are standing. Mike, David, Jerry, Bruce. See that far, Jim? I think I got Ruth. And then I think we have some of our candidates here also. I know Steve's here, obviously. John Nuttall, Tia. All right, thanks everybody for coming. This will be live streamed on the website, and will be recorded and made available also on the website. A little housekeeping before we get started. Would everybody do me a favor and please silent or buzz your phones. We don't want to hear Led Zeppelin or AC/DC or anything as we're going through this. We appreciate it. I need to make sure mine.
Mary, you don't need to do it because you can't hear it anyway. I was calling you. I wanted to tell you you were rescinding.
All right, good. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. One last thing. Let's make sure we stay respectful to our fellow members and your committee and board during this. We've all put in a lot of work to make this happen. I want to thank the Reardon Hall folks for setting this up, and the staff of the POA. I know there's going to be Daryl's staff's going to be around the tables, Tom's staff, and everybody. Just thanks for helping the golf committee put this together for our members. So I'm going to skip through a couple of these because I just talked and didn't hit the button. This way. Just keep talking. Oh, there we go. Introduction, we did that already. Agenda, there we go. So the overview of this, obviously, is to discuss Brittany and what we want to do with it, the financial considerations, the usage, and the feedback process. The goal, obviously, is to seek input from you, our members, and golfing and trail, other amenity people, members, and we and the board of directors have not made a decision. I want to make that very clear. There has not been a decision. I know there's some things going around, but no decision has been made on closing of Brittany. That's why we're all here. And there's no plans for closing additional. In July 18, the board did approve some resolutions on Burksdale North, that it remains open, triggering any devastating, triggering event of devastating flood, and Kingswood will be open as the rounds continue over 165. Investing in funds will be looked at flood issues, and, excuse me, and it will remain open, as we said, until there is a triggering event. What is the triggering event? If I can get, there we go. The triggering event. If rounds decrease below 120,000, the board may look at considering closing another golf course, and they will take all reasonable measurements to continue to take all reasonable measurements to continue to increase rounds in the list. Flood damage could also result in reevaluation of the golf courses. This is a good one. The repurposing of Brittany. This has been a catch-22. There have been, if we would have developed plans in advance for repurposing, we would, members we felt would say, oh, they're going to close it. There's no questions, they're going to close it. If we did not develop any plans, then same thought process is going to go out. So again, there's been no decision, and right now there are no plans of any sort of repurposing other than possibly a park, a natural park, but no other plans have been developed for repurposing right now. Your golf committee's next step, and there's another one in there that we didn't put in. Kind of made a decision today. We're here, obviously, to listen to input from our members. On May 29th, the golf committee will have a special meeting at 4 o'clock in the boardroom to review all the input, the emails we've been receiving, the communication, the conversations we've been having, and of course what happens at this meeting. The resolution will be discussed at the June 5th, and note that we moved that meeting up a Wednesday because of the APT tournament. So we're having it a Wednesday a week earlier, so June 5th at the boardroom, and then we will forward the recommendation to the board of directors. The board's next steps are consider the recommendations that we will give them, the golf committee will give them, and then they will, at the June 20th and then the regular board meeting, and make the decision at that point. We chose the June meeting because this is when the first meeting for the newly elected board. This is just a quick overview of Brittany. I think most of us in here know. Of course, it's adjacent to Commonwealth, and if I say it wrong, I'm sorry. Houston? It crosses over the road here and there, and it's out by the Metfield complex. So why Brittany? Yes. Rounds have dropped over 30% in the last 2 years of Brittany. It's narrow and unforgiving. It's very challenging for beginners. It's very challenging for beginners, and it's an executive short course and not a regulation ring. I think 9 holes. Since Birchdale was reopened, it appears, and it appears that the migration from Brittany has gone to Birchdale, the 9-hole Birchdale, based off the increased rounds there. Let's keep the side comments to a minimum until we can break out to our groups, please.
Why do you not want to take any questions? Why do you not want to take any questions? Come on, where are you? Come on, why do you not want to take any questions?
You're going to have the opportunity in your group. Thank you. Let's define the park. What does that look like? Mainly looks the same, mowed weekly versus daily. Greens grow road height, significantly less fertilizer and chemicals used. Cart paths will become walking paths, and no capital investment will be required.
Wait, if there's no plans to repurpose, then why are we talking about a park? Yeah.
We don't want a park.
We don't want a park. We don't want a park.
We're defining what a park is, if that is the direction that the conversation goes. That's all we're doing.
We don't want a park.
It'll be okay. We'll have time for your comments when you're in your groups. Okay? Thank you.
What are you afraid of?
Hey, let me get through this, and then we'll have discussions around your things. Where am I back up to? No. We're defining what a park is. You'll understand this when you get in your groups for discussion.
Is there somebody from your group getting an explanation?
Yes. Yes. There will be.
You've got, how many, 20? You've got 20 representatives, your team that are being disabled? I've never been one. I'm trying to understand your format and how this works.
Listen to the conversation. Nobody has to say right?
Since Brittany Hurston's graduated into the park,
We have a surgeon.
I like to
they were able to in 2016 with 1.5 miles of walking trail. This golf has had later. Additional parking spaces were put into the command, and there's been a neutral or positive impact actually on the property values. So, what there is a flood. You always, we've expressed concerns that if Brittany's closed due to a flood, or sorry, if Birchdale closes due to a flood, where would we play? 9-hole, are the 9-hole groups willing to include Brittany on the rotation? These are just questions. And on May 1st, when we had the last flood that we had, Dogwood and Brittany were the only two courses open. Dogwood was full, and Brittany had 10 golfers total.
That's not what the pros said. In one day?
They had, last one we had the last flood when the other courses were closed. Yes. Wednesday, yes.
Hi, so I'm the one that got tasked with talking about the numbers. Okay? So this particular slide, if we back it up a little and not just think about Brittany, but think about the POA as a whole, what you have here is this is the amount of the assessment subsidy by recreational area. So the first column is golf. So in golf, last year, the POA subsidized golf by $2.2 million.
At one course?
No, that's for all of the courses. Okay. And that number's been fairly consistent for about 5 years, give or take 100,000 or so. Okay.
And how much of that was which? $25,000.
We'll get to that in a few minutes, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. The purple one is food and beverage, and remember that's a new division that really just started last year. Recreation is $863,000. The trails is $35,000, and lakes is $374,000. So as you can see there, golf takes the lion's share of the subsidy. Okay, and just to make another point here, this is taken after all of our fees are considered. This is what's left over that the community pays. And the next one, this is about capital projects. So the first one included golf operations and golf maintenance. So that's the day-to-day operating expense. These are the big projects. So this was the redoing of the Scottsdale greens and the sand traps and the clubhouse, the collars at Highlands, the traps and the cart path work at Brittany and Country Club and all those things. Not Brittany, I'm sorry, Dogwood. Yeah, Brittany didn't get anything. And also the any of the maintenance costs over $10,000. So, for example, last year when the control went out at Scottsdale, that goes into capital projects. Okay. So, over the last 5 years, golf has gotten 32% of the total capital for the POA. And in that other section is Lake Point, Country Club, blah, 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 on and on, and a lot of the stuff that does. These are our total rounds that have been played since 2008, so that's a 10-year trend. You'll notice we have one year that was a nice little blip. That was the perfect year. We had a warm winter, a cool summer, and no rain. And like it or not, weather is a big determining factor of how much golf we play. Okay? But as you can see, this is a trend it's consistent. It's almost a straight line trend year after year after year. And I mean, we can all talk about the reasons for that, but that's just what it is. Now this is a comparison by the courses, okay? And we divided it up by Brittany, Burksdale, and others. Not because Burksdale's the next to go, but it's because it's a marketing offering of a 9-hole course as opposed to an 18-hole course. And we know for the 18-hole courses, depending on what's open or closed, the rounds just move around between the courses. So when Scottsdale is closed, the rounds just go to Country Club and Highlands. Okay, so that's why we took an average of those.
Is that annual?
This is for last year.
You're saying we only have 24,000
Per course. Per course. Okay. So you can see there that Brittany had 5,819 rounds. And that was down from over 778, I think, the year before that. And again, it's been a 30% decrease. Oh, we got a slide on that too. Burksdale is at 11,800. Now that's considerably less than what was played when it was an 18-hole course. But it's actually not, it's been about that since it reopened. It's been pretty consistent. And then for our 18-hole courses, it's around 25,000.
That's per course?
This is for one course. You know, so all others is an average of the 5 18-hole courses. Okay, and you'll get to talk about this, okay? Okay, so our 9-hole offerings are Brittany, which is a short course, and Burksdale, which is a full-length regulation 9-hole course.
Can you back up a slide? All right,
These are all rounds.
you're in what?
148,000 last year, total rounds. And here a round is a round, so if it's a 9-hole round or if it's an 18-hole round, it counts the same. All courses.
All courses.
Right there, 148,000. Okay, now this chart, the blue line is the number of rounds. Oh, 73,000. Okay. So the blue line is the round, so you can see it went from 8,346 in 2016 down to 5,819. And the revenue dropped from 79 down to 50.
But is it still profitable?
Well, none of our courses are profitable.
Why not close all of them?
So my question is, in that 63.
No, wait, we'll get to that number in a minute, okay? That's the next slide. Okay, but none of our courses make a profit. Remember that slide a while back where the community pays $2.5 million or $2.2 million? Okay, that's what your assessments are contributing to golf. Okay?
That's good.
So it was really this dramatic decrease that helped prompt the discussion of this meeting. Okay, the rounds going down and the revenue going down. Okay, I'll take a direct question.
Were the rounds in 2016 reflected that many groups were directed to Brittany?
Yes.
The flooding?
Yes, that's included in that.
So that's a comparison of not apples to oranges.
Well, there's always fruit salad. No matter what's happening, every year you have something.
Are you going to show this kind of chart against other golf courses? Are you? I want to see it against the other golf courses. Because I'll bet the revenue
Sir,
and the rounds.
after the meeting, come and give me your name, I'll send you a report.
Okay, the rest of us, what about everybody else?
Yeah, we wind up.
Can you send it out to everybody?
All right, here we go. So people have asked, how do you save money by closing a golf course? Okay, so we've talked about having a savings of $45,000, $46,000. How do you have a savings when you close a golf course because you bring in revenue? Okay, now don't forget that Susan went over a slide just a little bit ago, and all our amenities are subsidized. And that's part of the reason why we have the POA, is we subsidize golf, we subsidize the lakes and so forth, but we subsidize golf more so than the other ones. Okay, now if you look at the top, use this laser pointer and hopefully it works. All right, so as a golf course and as a park. So here's the comparison, okay? Okay, hold on, no shouting from the back. Hey, we talked about respect. Listen, you have an opportunity. So here we go.
Then I walk up here and see. You can't see it from back there. You can't see anything.
Sir, we can get you a chair and you can move up front. Okay, so here we go. Now, this entire presentation will also be made available on the website. Okay, so if you'd like to go through it at your leisure, you can do so. All right, so. Hold on. I got too many things. Okay, and there we go. All right, so here's revenue. All right, I got one slide. We'll go through it real quick here. Here's revenue at Brittany. We brought in $50,000 worth of revenue last year. Now, yes, that's how much we brought in. Okay, stop interrupting me. Be polite. Stop. Okay. Okay, so what happens when we close a golf course? When we're closed for revenue, for repair, when we're closed for there's a tournament going on, what ends up happening is in most cases those rounds move to another golf course. Okay, they don't go away. If you were a singular golf course and you closed, you lose all that revenue. But what our experience is if you close one golf course, the residents migrate to another golf course. Okay? So, we're anticipating that approximately 80% of those rounds will migrate over. Okay? They'll go, instead of, if Brittany were to be closed and we were now a park, they would then play at Birchdale. Or they would play at one of the other golf courses. Now, not everybody's going to transfer over. Some people are going to say, nope, I don't like that golf course, I'm not going to play, Brittany's my favorite. So that's why we said 100% wasn't going to go over. Only about 80%. Now, let's look at the expenses. We all know that golf courses are expensive to manage. Okay? So we have payroll. Now, by turning it into a park, you don't have to mow as often. Okay? You mow almost daily when it's a golf course. You mow weekly when it's a park. You just don't need to mow as often. You save a lot on labor, so we would not have to hire seasonal staff. As a result, employee benefits like payroll taxes, and medical benefits, and so forth, would reduce. Also, your supplies. Now, this is a big drop here. You have almost $27,000, but you're going to eliminate flags, poles, so forth. But the biggest savings is going to be in fertilizer and chemicals, because when it's a golf course, we put down pre-virgin herbicides so we don't get weeds. We have to fertilize to make sure the grass is growing. When it's a park, you don't have to use quite as much, and there's a large savings. Okay? And we've seen this savings on Birchdale South. Okay, that is now a park, if you want to call it. And we've seen that. So we have experience in doing these calculations. Okay, maintenance and repair. This is going to go down also because you will no longer have to use mowers quite as much. You don't use them as much, they don't break down as much, they don't have to be repaired as much. Outside contracts, okay, we would be able to eliminate tree pruning. Professional services eliminate greens-related soil testing. So they do testing on the greens, but if it's no longer a green, you don't have to do that testing. Insurance is by and large going to stay the same. Utilities will go down a little bit because if you're doing less mowing and less spraying of fertilizer and chemical, you have less diesel to power the mowers and have them go out. Postage stays around the same. Uniforms go down just a little bit because you have fewer employees. So this is what our expenses are. Here's our revenue. We talked about subsidy. Okay, we have subsidized golf, subsidize a lot of our amenities. So here's our revenue that we bring in. Here's the expense. That's how much it costs to run the golf course. So in a normal year, it cost us almost $78,000 to keep Brittany open. Okay? Now, if it becomes a golf course, park, that number goes down quite a bit because of the cost. Look at the large savings right here. That's where you're going to save quite a bit. Now, as a result, that's how you get to this savings of $46,000. And as I indicated previously, since we closed Birksdale South, we have a pretty good idea of where the savings are going to be. So this isn't just guessing, this is based upon historical data. So there's that. I do want to reiterate one thing. I know with going over the numbers and some of the things, I want to reiterate there has been no decision to do anything. That is why we are here. We know it's an emotional thing. It's emotional for all of us to play golf, but we want to give everybody facts so we can make a good decision. And when you guys are talking to so. But there has not been a decision made. So moving right along. There will be, now we're going to break out into group discussion. So there will be a facilitator per table. There will be 20 minutes of discussion. Obviously the pros, benefits of keeping it open, closing it, the negatives. And then let's get creative on how could we repurpose the land if we went that direction, or more importantly, let's keep it open and see how we can increase rounds and the revenue. So that's what we're getting ready to go into this next section. The group, again. All right, so again, please be respectful of everybody's view, no matter what it is. Select a leader in each of your groups to present, and we prefer that not to be the facilitator. And as you present your top 3 or 4 comments, and there's flip charts on every table to track the comments. We will consolidate and all of those flip charts at the end with all the other information, and go through and see what we're going to do. Again, this meeting was recorded and available on the website. So 20 minutes, everybody have a nice discussion. Remember your neighbors and your members. Let's be respectful.
Since you're at the head of the table. Oh no.
attention, please. This is important. Thank you. As we go through each table, if your table has a similar comment, please raise your hand. And the reason we're doing that is so we can make sure we know 5 tables said the same thing or something like that. And that will also, okay, and that will also give you the opportunity to skip that one. If you have 10, you can still get 2 or 3 in. I believe that is it. Susan is going to make sure it is noted.
Ready for
the topics
first up.
or the comments are noted up here. So if she doesn't type it correctly or you mean something else, have your facilitator make Susan so we can make sure it is 100% correct. Okay? So we're going to pass the mic around. Tom's going to carry the mic around. We're going to start over at the table by the flags.
Quiet please, quiet please.
Everybody, thank you.
Thank you all. Here's the representative for First Aid.
Hi, we have some pros, a couple of pros and several cons. So the pros were it would save money if we closed Brittany, and it would also allow neighbors to use it as a walking park area.
Keep going.
Our cons are top 3. First, it's the only 9-hole course that does not flood.
Who all had that?
Second, it has increased vandalism and litter already.
Are you going to be nice to me or what?
The third one was we can't use Brittany as a backup course if Birchdale floods. If we kept it open, we could use it as a backup. More people would use it as a backup course.
Ideas?
Our ideas are to market first tee and to youth groups, and propose golf and food package.
Hold on, sorry, first tee comment.
Market.
Yeah, put your hands up again. I want to get it. It wasn't awesome.
I like that.
That's good.
Speaker. I think they didn't realize when that happened.
That's good fun.
Yes.
On the pros and closing, we could pick a thing primarily because of that. It only saves less than $50,000 to close the course, and that's college.
Hello.
Who else had that?
The other cons are, people move to that area because they want to live on the golf course.
Yeah.
Close it down. Undermine people's intentions of moving to golf course. But primarily, the savings are just too small, and so what we need to be thinking about is how do we get more people using that golf course. The way that we talk about doing that is doing things like making it very cheap, making the place where people go if they're going to play golf, make the family race and the whole family to play golf very cheap. Promote other sorts of things, just to make that course. They should go, we're going to go play golf, then get hooked into golf game, so that later on you can find other courses.
Thank you. Can we please keep the side conversations down a little bit? I have a hard time hearing. Thank you.
Okay, from a standpoint of keeping the course open, we felt that keeping it as an insurance policy of Birchdale closing is our number 1. I think we've already got that up, but I think it's important. The other thing that is we thought was a good thing for Brittany is that Brittany is probably the only course where you could play early tee times without a reservation if you wanted to walk out and play. So we thought that was good. We also thought that for all those homeowners that have purchased houses or condos on the golf course, that their property value may be affected, and there may be some cost of litigation if someone got smart enough and wanted to sue POA for taking away that advantage. I think it's different than closing Branchwood, because on Branchwood there weren't a lot of houses that were right on the golf course. Where Brittany, we have a lot of over 200 houses or condos on the golf course that have a golf course view. That may be a problem that we have. The other thing that we thought is along the promotional lines is promote Brittany to do other things other than just regular tea times. In other words, have things like once a month or once every couple of weeks, a one-man scramble event where they come in and just play a scramble event, or offer some sort of family scramble event once or twice a month to encourage people to come out and start using the facility more. That should increase rounds and increase revenue. And the last thing that I would like to mention is I think it's important for higher handicap golfers on Brittany to be able to play it forward. There isn't any play it forward tees, and I think it's a difficult golf course for high handicappers on par fours that have to hit over a ravine or and you're hitting into a hill, you get no roll. And you're playing your second shot when you get to it on a very uphill lie. So having to play it forward tees to Brittany, I think would be important. Thank you.
Well, I'm representing the women's high hole golf group because we play exclusively on Brittany. We play every Monday, early times from April through October. And my first comment would be, if Brittany is closed, our group would have to dissolve because we will not be able to get tee times that are desirable on any of the other courses. They're already full. All the desirable tee times are full. So that's my first point that I want to bring up.
Good point.
And we invite new golfers to play with us. If a woman has gone through the academy or any kind of lessons, and they have a desire to learn how to play golf, and they want to play, we welcome them into our group. We aren't a real fast group, and that's why we have been criticized if we play on other teams or on other courses. Because we've tried that in the past. And they come around and say, you gotta speed up, you gotta do something faster. You can't do that if you're an inexperienced player. And it's also important, we think that it's important to be able to have a place where people can take their children and their grandchildren and go play some golf. And another point, I know it's more than 2 or 3. I think it's important. The greens at Brittany are Bermuda grass. It's the same as Scottsdale. We lost a lot of golfers when we were transitioning. The course had 2 or 3 greens close at any one week or for 1 month. And so we lost a lot of golfers. That may be why Brittany went down and it's never come back up on the ground. I don't know, but I know we lost a lot in our group. But they're beautiful greens. It's a great golf course. Now, for promotions, we feel that it could be promoted as a learn to play golf. Again, with new golfers, Brittany is a great place to start playing, and it is a challenging course. If any of you have not played it, I would encourage you to do that. It is a challenging course. And from the standpoint of the fees, if you want to raise them a couple bucks, our group certainly wouldn't complain. Brittany is... Brittany is the cheapest place you can play right now. We could raise, we could pay a couple more dollars. That would be fine.
Last one.
Please.
Last one.
Last thing, if you're going to promote Brittany promote it. And we have no apparel for Brittany. All the other golf courses have apparel. We don't have it. And I think that would be another way to promote it. And I think a lot of the other things.
Thank you.
Well, everybody took one cigar, okay. Well, most of the 8% courses are always booked with the groups, and I think this has been covered a little bit. But when people call in for a starting time just for themselves, which I'm from California, and you always did that at courses, there's no starting times. Do they refer them to Brittany? I don't think so.
No.
They need to start referring calls to Brittany for people who walk on and start playing.
Good idea.
That's number one. I noticed when you indicated we have a $46,000 loss when you were talking about closing Brittany and how much you would save by putting a park in there. How much is it going to cost to maintain that park? That amount should be deducted from the $46,000. It was? All right, I missed that. So our group, I don't recall it. How much does it take to maintain the Branchwood Park, you know?
We use the branch, well, I don't want to, we use the Branchwood numbers to create Brittany numbers.
Well,
Birchdale numbers to create the Brittany numbers.
I'm not familiar with all the parks here, but according to everybody at my table, we already have about 8 parks in Dulles. Why do we need another? And you know, I have to take a little bit of issue with you standing at that microphone and saying, we haven't considered closing Brittany, but then you spent about 80% of your conversation on park. 80% of it about, because I kept track. So you've been talking about a park, and it's in your minds to close Brittany. I hope you don't have closed that. The last thing I'll say here, do you think the stump dump has caused those grounds to decrease? And the people sitting here, sitting here at the table with me, evidently a lot of them live on Brittany. We used to have a restaurant there, we took it out. Is there any plans for a restaurant back in? That's the restaurant. The other thing, the last thing I'll say is that it really calls me to sit and watch television where you advertise $199 for 6 rounds. I live here, I remember it cost me more to play around the ball than the
A lot of the subjects have already been covered, but as far as cons, first and foremost, no one in this room wants a park. As was mentioned, we have plenty of parks. Adding another park is going to add more people that are not POA members. We're going to have more patrolling by the POA that has to be done. And these are people that live directly on the golf course that don't want outsiders traipsing through their backyards. The other con is you're going to lose golfers. This is the only golf course that does not flood, period. As far as creative ideas, we need to market the heck out of this golf course. There's zero marketing done on any of the courses that inside here, much less Brittany. Let's go to Top Golf. It's opening this fall. Let's give some cards to the kids to learn how to play golf up here. Let's get some golf pros to market to the women and the children to learn to play golf. Let's get the grandkids out here. Let's get the children. You say you want to promote to the younger families that have to move up here into properties. Guess what? Let's get together with some child care providers and get some child care so these younger moms can get out of the house. I have 7
stay-at-home mothers on my street alone. Let's get some childcare. Let's get these young women out into our community and show them this is a golfing community. This is why you moved here. Again, we need to add Brittany to the overall golf schedule. You call in and you need a tee time. There's nothing wrong with playing this golf course twice if you want to golf. So you're going to cancel your golf plans rather than go to Brittany. It doesn't make sense. Add it to the schedule. We need to get back in partnership with First Tee. They're a great provider. They do a great service. Why they're not up here at Brittany teaching these kids how to golf and giving them tee times, I don't know. We need to make that happen. Also, again, raise the fees. What you hear consistently is, I don't mind paying a couple extra dollars. It's right there. It doesn't flood. It's a beginner's course. Let's make it happen.
Thank you.
Okay, so we agreed that it would be a loss of a great senior course, and of course for beginners. We're very concerned about vandalism, if it would be turned into a park, these are all ponds, because people have their decks smack dab up against the course, and what's going to stop the public from coming in and vandalizing the place? We're going to need more police, job security for you people. There's going to be more trash, and there's going to be a lot more noise. Golfers are pretty quiet when they go by. And furthermore, there's going to be a lot of trespassing because where are these people going to park if they're going to go to a park there? It's not like they're just going to ride their bike there. It's not good. And we agree, as far as our pros and creative ideas, we believe that Brittany is not marketed at all. You know? I mean, let's have an annual pass, shall we? I'm great at buying annual passes, and then I don't use them, so they're gonna make a lot of money off of me. And specials and blow balls and all sorts of things that could be done there that is just not being done. So closing it is just. Yeah, it's a great place. This would be a fun to losing it. There would be a loss of a place for young families who go to golf after work.
Thank you.
I'm Marilyn Jansen, and some of you got the papers that I put out there. I am the coordinator of the Metro Mommies. We play Tuesday mornings. I also play with the Blackpool ladies at Medfield, and so I really have a very vested interest in continuing Brittany as a golf course. Most of the things that we talked about at our table have been covered by other groups, but one other possible improvement would be to use 15-inch cups. Has anybody ever played with those? They are a lot of fun. Make it a lot easier for a beginning golfer, and it would be something that would be a goal.
Yes. Our table covers anything that's already been brought up, so I'm just going to go to summarizing that basically we felt that before we close the course, it really needs to have the benefit of being marketed. And I don't feel that, and no one here at the table felt that it really is marketed. It's not talked about, it's not promoted in any way, and people aren't directed there to play. So maybe annual passes, we talked about increasing the fees and making the larger cups. And as people are moving into the area, part of the marketing and real estate agents can be that there is a special course for beginners, children, families, Brittany.
the spirit of not repeating some of the things that you've heard, I'll skip over some of it. One of the things that I've heard that probably the director is one of the gentlemen at our table put it is what would be a problem with column of course. Well, the horse is an asset, a very valuable asset to help us. Why would you want to lose an asset in Bridger Creative Park? On the creative side, we talked about a lot of things. We talked about it could be a good course for beginners. If you could visits for many of our movies, some of the G box and stuff. Certainly great for seniors. Family play. We talked about first year already. Been mentioned before. Increased fees, $45,000. Somebody said it is a rounding error. If you have to put the increased fees in $1 or $2, I don't think anybody would jump off the bridge. Nine tournaments, parent, children, grandparents, grandchildren tournaments, maybe a way to market differently. You could even take a look at going the other direction and make golf go to 27-hole course as opposed to just an 18, where you can alternate times. And then, last but not least, try to find creative ways to get to the golf things that we all play on different courses to the course. That's pretty much it.
One thing, I think this is a little bit, but another part, not really what everybody wants, because of the experience of Brookdale not being as pretty, it wouldn't be as attractive as it is right. And then property value decreases in that area. So we found it kind of funny that although none of us are spending any time really talking, we all kind of came to some of the basic consensus. So really all we want to say is we don't believe that we have fully capitalized on the gem that Brittany could be, particularly as we try to involve the youth and families and try to revive Bella Vista as a golf community. When we continually see that downward spiraling, we're just going to throw up our hands and say, okay, we're no longer a community where golf is one of the recreational anchors. I don't think anybody here wants that. I'm not a golfer, but I love the fact that it's there for people that do, because my husband likes to golf. And you know, I have grown kids that kind of like to come and play, and so we are totally against Brittany becoming a park, because really what you suggested is it just sits as is, and we mow it once a week, and like they said, it's going to be an increase in vandalism, and then I guess 10 years from now we'll be having another meeting trying to figure out what we're going to do, because it's completely and utterly dilapidated at that point. We think that if we marketed to the schools, if we marketed to the families, if we used it, like someone said, that glow tournament, it would bring in that youth that we need to start going, hey, this is kind of a fun sport, let's pick it up. And again, if you're looking to get rid of $45,000, is this really the course to do it? Because like everybody's saying, this is the only one when the flooding happens that doesn't flood. So if you really have to cut $45,000, is this the place to do it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Everything that we have on our list, everything is covered. Except one thing, and I might have missed it. But my knowledge is one of the only courses that can truly be walked without getting run over.
Yes.
I live on the course like many of you. I live on the course like many of you, and I've spoken to a lot of golfers out there that play with me, and they all say they love to walk this golf course. The other thing is the family thing. I flag down some of the families out there on Sunday evenings, and they all say they hate to see this course go away because they can bring their kids out.
Right.
Parents and their kids. So those were really the only two things that I wanted to add to it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's got to be done. Supposed to be meeting over. Okay,
seems to be a big deal about the parks. Everybody seems to be forgetting there's already a big park connected to the golf course. And it keeps going back and forth all the time. POA just spent money renovating that park. It definitely don't need another park. It's being used very well, and it also promoted by putting, if they use the pavilion, put something in there to where you can use the golf course and the pavilion at the same time.
Would be able to believe that the vote that the argument is that.
Right, thank you.
A lot of these points that have been made are very good points, and of course we recognize those also. A couple of things that came up is that we can play Brittany in about an hour and a half. Sometimes we don't have time to go off for 4 or more hours of playing golf. Many of us have been out for years and we've got a little fatigue, and we're more than comfortable just to get in 9 holes, get our fix, so to speak, and look forward to coming back and doing it again. Other thing is that all the infrastructure is there to support Brittany, and the course is in great shape, a fun place to play. And also pointed out that some people enjoy walking, walking is a game of exercise, and I agree with that, and I enjoy walking. And a lot of the other courses you just can't walk. Distance between the greens and the next tee box are considerably longer, and you get worn out, especially on a hot day. The other thing that we picked up on is that the fact we're feeling like a lot of, like 80% of people would go to play Birchdale if Brittany was closed. I'm not convinced, and we talked about it at our table, that 80% of the people that enjoy playing 9 holes of golf are going to be willing to pay $10 more per round to go from Brittany over to Birchdale.
I may have to repeat some of the priorities I repeated to emphasize them. Pro for closing, none. Property owners on golf course, if you're going to repurpose it, they need compensation. They bought intending it to be a golf course. Why reinvest in a golf course that may have a triggering event? Invest in the sure thing. Quote unquote park now, pump track later, maybe. That's a bike training facility. Special groups, several of them mentioned, would lose where to go. There wouldn't be a place for them to play. The golf committee needs to add flexibility as to who plays where. And ideas to market to members, not public. I've grown up in a golf family, and member privileges mean something. And I think if you increase what privileges mean and market it that way, it will change the dynamic. Maybe have a Cooper Elementary Golf League. Maybe link someone that plays with a kid that his parents aren't going to play. Parent-child events leagues, and then I want to make sure this is right. This is master plan transparency. POA transparency for a 10-year plan, and it shouldn't just be about golf courses.
Good, thank you.
Most of my table has had to leave, but I'll go ahead and give their concerns. Most everything has been mentioned. One of the things that was expressed here was that there's a fear that the cyclists will stop using the walking trails and that could be hazardous to the elderly and to the dog walkers that are using that are using those trails at about the same time. There was a concern as to whether this park would be a private amenity or if it would be marketed to the public. There was a question about the conversion cost and how long it would take to pay for that, to convert it from a golf course to a park. And so how long would it take us to actually start making that $40,000 a year? And one of the marketing ideas was to ask people to donate their old golf clubs or youth golf clubs for families to use for free who either can't afford to buy golf clubs or can't afford to rent golf clubs. If you're going to make it, if we can make it a family-friendly course, then maybe we can also get some sets of golf clubs together. Probably everybody has one or two sitting around that they could donate. And then going to the Cooper League, that might also be a good idea for them because those golf clubs are expensive, and if you don't know if your kid's going to play golf, you don't want to invest a whole lot of money in that. So if we had people that could donate, kids golf clubs, then maybe you could get that league started a little more easily. And we probably have some grandmas and grandpas around here whose grandkids don't live right here close, who would be willing to volunteer with that league, with a little kid league like that, to go out and just help them with strokes and things like that. So that's basically what we have.
Thank you.
Well, I got the privilege of representing our group. We didn't have any positive closing, Brittany. We do think that they need to promote it, especially the cost of it. Lots of people at this table didn't know that there was significant cost savings in using Brittany. They're concerned about property value. Again, already a part of Medfield. And they're really concerned about there's no place to play social golf. They just want to take the time, have a good time, and go to the Medfield Brew. Most of what you covered, we discussed. I hope we make the right decision. Thank you.
Hello. I want to wait everybody. A couple of things I want to say. Most of what we have on this sheet has been mentioned before. One thing I want to mention is they brought up a chart that showed how the golfing in Bella Vista has went down. If you get Golf Magazine or any golf magazine or golf thing, you know the golfing nationwide has went down enormously. It's not just Bella Vista. And we need to fight against that. We need to train young people to play. We need to get seniors like me out there walking. Maybe this would be a perfect course to have a seniors league. I think that the course needs to have some sort of process for people who don't get it as far as they used to. And if they want to put a little bit of money in the course, they can put in a second cart path on the sides of some of the holes. You can go down the big alley and come up the other side. You get it right down the middle. You don't make it to the greens. You got to walk down the hill and up the hill. And another cart path is a lot easier with seniors. There was nobody at our table was for closing this course. I talked to 8 other tables. Nobody at any of those tables was for closing this course. And I think if we had a vote in this room, there would be 90% against closing this course. Thank you. Thank you.
It's not a question of when it's going to flood, it's a question of it is going to flood. So controversially, Clubs Birchdale, we're treating Brittany as an orphanage, and that's going down the road.
I guess I could just say ditto to everything. Everybody, some very good ideas into this program that we want to continue because this asset is so important to the livelihood that we have here in Bella Vista. You drive down 71, what do you see? You see 4 miles of good golf courses. Brittany provides a very unique position for unskilled new golfers and young golfers. We need to get the youth more involved for our city to thrive. Okay, everything has been covered. One thing I would like to see possibly would be an annual pass. Somewhere maybe $500–600, unlimited playing. I think that would generate a lot of income. If you sold 50 of those at $600, you'd have $30,000. 2/3 of what we lost, supposedly. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing turnout, huh? A couple things that were mentioned was the triggering event for the golf courses that would cause the golf committee to have to make a decision as to whether they're going to be with golf courses. Possibly they could identify a triggering event for Brittany with regard to number of rounds. But if you look at the revenue that Brittany generates, if you increase the golf fees a little bit and considered the number of rounds to get to the revenue number, you're talking probably 5 or 6 rounds a day. Maybe with the number of people here, we could track on the POA website how many rounds are played at Brittany. And if it looks like the trend isn't continuing, then there's marketing that promotes that to make sure if the majority wants to keep it open, then everyone is informed as to what it's going to take to do that.
Great, thank you.
Everything has been said that we want to say. Only on the page. Can you hear me? I think just about everything has already been said, but what I would like to add is that when I first learned how to play golf, it was through a college, very cheap, but at the end of each lesson, it included 9 holes of golf, and it was exactly the course. The world of difference in your playing. We can do that very easily. Promote families, young kids, grandchildren, to learn and have each, say 6 to 8 lessons each time you will play Brittany and practice with skills. I think that would be a great idea. That's about it.
Like everybody said, we covered everything that everybody else did, so we won't go over that. One thing that came up, that this is a cost savings, they laid out a very good plan that they were going to cut money by reducing the fertilizer and all that stuff. They could apply that plan to all the golf courses, save money across the board. They need to do park paths, and having been around here for 40 years, I'm tired of seeing our private property be given over to public access.
Covered, everybody's covered all of our points.
That's it? That's everybody, great. Thank you. We really appreciate everybody taking the time to see this afternoon. I know there was some golf changes with some things, leagues, and we apologize for that. But thank you again for coming. And like I said, leave everything on the table. If you have any any other notes on the table as well to make sure we collect them. We appreciate